It gives me an immense pleasure to invite him right here. We'd like to invite Shri Lal Thanhalwar Ji, Honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram, to kindly address the audience. Can I have the round of applause, everybody around? Thank you.
Captain Rahul Bali, who has been visiting Mizoram and who has initiated this magnetic Mizoram occasion. My esteemed colleague in the government, Honorable Finance Minister Mr. Lal Sota, other officials of my government, diplomatic community, captains of Indian industry, senior government officials, ladies and gentlemen, friends. It is my great privilege and honor to welcome each and every one of you to the magnetic Mizoram Roadshow here in New Delhi today. I extend a very warm welcome to our guests from the diplomatic community, the captains of Indian industry, senior government officers, important members of the hospitality industry, and our friends from the media who have taken time to attend the interactive session to get insight into Mizoram. My colleague officials have made a number of presentations, which is almost, I feel, is enough. But then, since I'm here, I have to add some from my own view. Mizoram has remained unexplored for a very long period of time for a number of reasons. We have now taken a deliberate decision to reach out to the world, showcasing our beautiful land, and in fact, act as a platform that would attract the brightest minds from across the country and the world at large, showcasing innovation and best practices and discuss their application in the state of Mizoram for the benefit of the state as well as the industry. As has been announced, we have been practicing the age-old slash and burn zoom cycle, which has been very destructive to the forest and the environment. To do away with this system, we have evolved an economic policy which is known as New Land Use Program, which has been the flagship program of the government since the last few years. Now, to continue with this, we have evolved the new economic development policy in 2016, which aims at providing a comprehensive growth strategy of Mizoram. The main objective is to bring about a sea change in the way priorities are placed in matters of economic development and governance to ensure that the state fully capitalizes on the new opportunities placed before it, with the end objective of Mizoram being able to attain a robust and self-sustaining economy. We have been also at the same time taking maximum advantage of the Honorable Prime Minister's Act-East policy as well as some of his economic programs. Conforming to the new economic development program of Mizoram, the government of Mizoram, in association with our state partners, Innovations India, have planned out a well-thought-out event calendar that would highlight various aspects of Mizoram and convert it into one of the most desirable destinations in India. We recently organized the first ever Indian Film Festival in Mizoram on a very grand scale, which was attended by some of the biggest filmmakers of the country and the world. I'm happy that the filmmakers were very impressed with Mizoram. We have already initiated talks of making a film with a top Bollywood actor to be directed by a national winning director. In our endeavor of showcasing Mizoram and reaching out to the world, the government of Mizoram, in association with our state partners, Innovations India, is organizing a magnetic Mizoram summit in Aizawl sometime next March. And before that, we also propose to hold another magnetic Mizoram in Calcutta sometime in the middle part of February, I suppose. I don't know, we cannot fix the time as yet, but then we're working on it. It will be a 2-day summit bringing together investors and representatives of states and governments, leaders from the corporate world, senior policymakers, representatives of international institutions, diplomatic missions and academia from India and abroad to deliberate on investments, new projects, and to promote business cooperation across various sectors of trade and industry. Magnetic Mizoram Summit would leverage Mizoram's potential in key products like bamboo, fruits, silk, handicrafts and handlooms, as well as tourism, adventure sports, etc., and connect with global investors, providing a networking platform to amplify interaction between stakeholders through B2G and B2B meetings. Mizoram perhaps is the only state in this country which is sandwiched by two foreign countries, Bangladesh in the west and Myanmar in the east. Even though the population is estimated to be around 12 lakhs in Mizoram, during the colonial rule, we have been the worst sufferers of the divide and rule policy. In Myanmar, there are more people belong to the Mizo ethnic group in Myanmar than we are in Mizoram, than we are in India. And in Bangladesh also we have a sizable population of Mizo ethnic group. In fact, in the present Myanmarese parliament, we have at least 25 members of parliament belonging to Mizo ethnic group. The Britishers termed us as Lusai Chin Kuki group, and within these three groups, all the Mizo ethnic groups are united. And even in Myanmar, all along the border, across the border, is heavily and thickly populated by Mizo ethnic group, to the extent, as I have said, that there are at least 25 members of parliament in the Myanmarese parliament, including one of the two vice presidents. In Bangladesh also we still have a sizable population. Seamless exchange of experiences and innovative ideas during the summit would pave the way for various developmental projects being undertaken under collaboration with outside players. As we have listened to our planning secretary, we have great potential for hydropower as well as solar power. We are working on this. It is very heartening to see that some of the leading players of corporate India and some major stakeholders of Indian hospitality industry are here today. I am sure that all of you would be mesmerized by the beauty of our land and hospitality of our people. I may add here that Mizoram is on the verge of being gateway for trade and commerce with Southeast Asian countries by building Kaladan multimodal transit project. Kaladan is the biggest river in Mizoram, which is flowing southwards. In Mizoram, all the rivers are either flowing southwards or northwards, and this Kaladan river happens to be the biggest river in Mizoram. And through this, we are proposing to be the gateway for trade and commerce with Southeast Asian countries. On our side, we have completed construction of roads up to the Myanmarese border. And on the other side of the border, the Myanmarese government has to construct a road connecting us with Akiep seaport. And in Akiep seaport, we have developed already, with the cooperation of the Burmese government, place which have to be used after this has been inaugurated. I'm very happy that even the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, is very keen in developing this, and he has even given some fund to the Burmese government for construction of the road within their territory. And I'm happy that in this project most of the stakeholders are very keen, and once or twice we have this seminar in Mizoram, and the attendance from the neighboring countries was also very impressive. They are asking, as we are, in commissioning this project. I'm sorry to mention here that Mizoram has been ravaged by 20 years of insurgency, during which period no development could take place. And in the process, where all the other states are marching forward in development for 20 years, we are moving backward. And because of that, we still have 40 years economic backlog to clear, including infrastructure development. In the process, we are still very poor in infrastructure development. Even though it is a pleasure to invite all of you to come to Mizoram for investment and for various other purposes, I am afraid that we still not be able to provide you the comfort and amenities that you are used to. But in spite of that, we are keen to have you in Mizoram. And till today, even in the northeast, Mizoram is by far the least visited state. I've been complaining with almost all the prime ministers, right from Indira Gandhi to all the prime ministers, that Mizoram is the least visited state in this country. And because of that, we have been having a feeling of isolation. To bridge this gap, leaders sitting pretty in Delhi should come to Mizoram, not only for a flying visit, but stay overnight, meet the people, take them into confidence, and make them willing Indians. In fact, I have had very unfortunate incidents many times in this country, and I'm quite certain even now, most of you know much better about New York, Singapore, London and other places than you know about the Northeast. In 1984, about 30 years ago, I was accorded the reception in a particular hotel. The gathering was very impressive. Bureaucrats and some business people, some of them are my friends. There I was introduced to one very high and mighty gentleman, and I was introduced as Chief Minister of Mizoram. He asked me, where is Mizoram? Is it in Burma or Nepal? I was very sad in that. Then when I said that I'm an Indian, Mizoram belongs to India. He said, you don't look like an Indian. I told him, tell me in one sentence, how does an Indian look like? Then later on he had to apologize. To that extent, I'm not happy to say this, but then to that extent, the Northeast has been neglected. And even in the Northeast, Mizoram remains the least visited state till now. As I said, it is very heartening to see that some of the leading players of corporate India and some major stakeholders of the Indian hospital industry are here today. I am really very happy. In fact, as I said, most of the people outside the Northeast do not seem to accept that this great country of ours is populated by at least three major races of the world: the Dravidians in the south, the Aryans in central India and north, And we people belong to the Mongoloid stock in the Northeast. I have always been saying this because I feel it very much necessary to say this, because in various parts of the country nobody knows about the Northeast. And besides the three major races of the world, we have origin tribes who have been living in this great country for ages and ages. Such is the situation, and therefore whatever presentation that has been made just now are really very, very relevant, and I would like to invite each and every one of you to take maximum use of the presentation that has been made. As you have listened to, under the new economic development policy for this sustainable growth strategy, we try to bring up Mizoram from subsistence economy to market economy, and to achieve this, unless people like you do not help us, it will be a futile exercise. And therefore, I once again thank Captain Rahul Bali for initiating Magnetic Mizoram in a grand style, and I'm also really happy and thank each and every one of you for making your time to be present here and see how best we can work together in developing the Northeast, not only Mizoram but the entire Northeastern region. Thank you very much.